Oh shit, give me a second. I don't have my, I just barely started. Mic's unmuted. What's up, Rookie? I've had a mind fucking past couple days on the internet. Not in like a learning something sort of way though, so none of it was beneficial to my brain. So prior to about a year ago, I used to go on chat sites pretty much every single day, where I would cam up with webcam with a bunch of other people and talk to them. Me, of course, being me, I'm a very serious, no-nonsense person, and a lot of other stoners and people in that, like, regard aren't. They're very laid-back, jokey, and all they like to do is shit-talk each other for fun. Which, I mean, is fine, but over the years, because even though that was the case, I still stayed on Tiny Chat, because a lot of people would always PM me or do other things when they would see me in a room to ask me stuff. And it's actually part of the reason why I even started streaming, and it's because I was told that even though I can be very blunt and asshole-ish about certain things, I also make a lot of valid points. And again, this isn't me saying this. I went on those chat sites since before I really should have been able to go on those chat sites. I just always looked way older than I actually am, thereby people thinking that I was older than I actually am. And I also used to, because I'm sort of like over it now, mostly because I've grown to know that a lot of those people as well were also bullshitters, liars, and a bunch of other shit. So I wasn't the only one in the position of like, oh yeah, I told people I lived in a completely different area than I actually do, and I told people I wasn't as old as I was, and a bunch of other shit. Now, when it came down to real information, that's when I would get serious, because I think people cared way too much about the superficial bullshit, and it's why I try not to judge a person based on age or anything that they think, because, like, superficial things should not be cared about in the context of trying to have a serious conversation. Because then you're just fucking arguing semantics and doing nothing. But the point I'm getting to is, so I've been trying to get back into that recently. I've been going back into the places, talking to the people that I had used to talk to years ago more regularly. And you know when you think that some people might change? Because I'd like to think that I've changed over the years. Yeah, I rage probably a little bit more at video games than I should, but I also just do that because it's one of my only means to vent. Because I don't talk to people anymore. Like I said, I used to be on there every day, at least multiple hours of a day when I had nothing else to do. And really, I don't know why I did it for so long, even though I hated half of the people that I met on there. And they hated me back, equivalently. In fact, if you go onto Tiny Chat and mention Dodd or Dustin in a lot of the stoner rooms, you're gonna get an immediate hate-filled reaction from people. And I'm not even kidding you when I say some people will even go as far to, like, shit talk things that I've said before that weren't true. Again, I lied about a ton of bullshit when it came to my personal life, because I didn't actually care about anyone knowing who I was, where I was from, and what I did, because I didn't want anyone making preconceived notions off of me because of that, because people would already, the places that I told them that I lived, people would assume that, oh, so you're from here, and blah 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 blah, and it was like, people don't realize how easy it is to learn the geography of a place because of how Google Earth exists. Like, people would ask me places about the places that I would say I would live, and I'd tell them about, like, oh yeah, this place has like that cool dome downtown. Little did they know I just had another tab open and I was just looking up fucking places, like, oh yeah, the fucking theater in the middle of Vancouver. And it's like, it's such a vague, basic term, but it still makes those dumbass people who don't assume otherwise fall for that shit. And in the same limelight, that's all they are. They're just bullshit ass people that I wasted my fucking time and intelligence on. And it only came to me today that I had did that for so long. And I think it's mostly because I grew out of that. I grew out of wanting to try and convince people that they're fucking stupid. Because eventually it just becomes to the point where you're bashing your head against a brick wall, and the brick wall isn't even a brick wall anymore. The brick wall is a fucking entombment of a group of people that just keep saying the same shit over and over again. Dude. Like, they can't get over shit from years ago regarding you or them or anything. And it's just like, you will meet, and I don't recommend ever going on there, but I do highly recommend going on there just to see what I'm talking about for a day or two. It is absolutely fucked and bizarre. Again, consider the fact that I had been going on that website since around late 2009. I know, like, at least hundreds of people, if not thousands of people that I've met through that website and other chat sites that were created because Tiny Chat became, like, the equivalent of a chat site being pay to win, and you had to, like, buy to get a bunch of different features that used to just be for free. So a lot of people moved over to another website that was made up of people from the other website, so it was just an amalgamation of fuckery on top of the already existing fuckery that existed, that was the broken left remains of Tiny Chat, which still exists, and actually is probably more popular now than it was back then. However, you can see me and a bunch of other people from the chat that I used to stay in all the time that was called Ideas. No joke. There was a news report in a county in somewhere in America that was made about, like, kids going on the internet to, like, smoke weed with people, and there was literally a camera pan from one side of a computer screen to the other of the chat room with just all of our faces lined up in it. And it was so surreal for us to be on the news in a place completely unrelated to us. Well, I mean, it sort of was related. The room was about getting stoned, but, like, even though some people were kids, because again, no one said their real age, everyone just fucking lied about it initially. Because there were tons of young people. That's half of the reason this website even existed, was because of all the young people that went on the website in the first place. I don't know if they created Tiny Chat thinking a bunch of 30-year-olds would come onto chat sites looking for each other. No. It was a place filled with fucking 15 to 16 to 17, 10 to 13, all that kind of shit. Until Tiny Chat actually started cracking down on it and made people actually give up their real age. And then some people would still lie. Because they could. People like me who had a beard and facial hair when they were 13 years old, I could get away with that shit easily. Granted, my beard was a neck beard, but it was still like a beard. And I have a native cheekbone structure, so the second I started to mature, I haven't looked any different since the day I was 13, except for the fact I've got a couple additional scars and my facial hair is filled out a little bit more. I look almost identical. I'm even the same fucking height because I didn't grow anymore. I'm just a short, skinny fucking native dude with long-ass hair. And, I mean, I hate to generalize my own group of people, but it's pretty well known that natives are similar to Asians and that you don't age until you hit the magical age where you all of a sudden look 20 years older. But until then, you just always look like you're in your mid-20s. Even when you're in your 30s, your 40s, you look like you're in your mid-20s, and then you hit that age of 50 and your hair just starts to go gray and you get wrinkles and then you look old. It's the same way with fucking Asians. But it's... And again, I'm not trying to generalize my own people, but it is an actual fact. Just about everyone in my family is that same way. You look super young until you hit about 40, and then it flips a switch and you look super old until you're dead. But yeah, I've grown a passionate hate for people. I was on Facebook earlier, which I rarely use anymore, talking to people from that site, because I had gotten permanently banned for telling a dude to shut the fuck up, because I didn't, back when I used to talk to him years ago, he didn't like me and I didn't like him. So I don't know why he was, like, trying to interject on my conversation with someone else. So I just told him to shut the fuck up. And he permanently banned me. So I went to the actual owner's Facebook page, which I hadn't used in ages, and posted on his Facebook page on some random post as a reply, because he's the kind of person that doesn't let you post even if you're, like, a close friend. And I started... this comment chain in this fucking Facebook post I'm talking about is probably 30 comments long, with me initially starting my complaint about being banned, and then it ended on him being racist because I made one small comment about how the owner of the room was a fucking fascist racist anyways. And he had to make his own room to escape that, but of course I didn't call him out on that until just that moment, because I just, like I said now, I'm fed up with it. I can't stand stupidity from people, and I've just given up letting people be fucking D-bags for a living. So I just called him out, and it was like, the amount of times I've seen you openly on open mic say the fucking N-word, like, over and over and over again, like it doesn't matter, in the context of you, like, bad-mouthing the people in your fucking neighborhood, and then on Facebook he wants to say, no, I never said that word, and then I play some fucking bullshit strings, like I'm the asshole, and I'm playing his strings, and I'm the bad guy in the situation. And then one of the old regs from Ideas, I was talking to him on why Magic originally had to make his own room. This guy, his online persona's name was Magic Hoo-Ha. He has a YouTube channel even, with a bunch of dumb bullshit, even videos about Tiny Chat back in the day. But anyways, the guy is a fucking racist and would talk constantly about race and politics in the room. But he was the owner and no one even listened to him anyways. Even the co-owners fucking ignored the shit out of him. But this dude, I guess to try and, like, save face on Facebook and not seem like a racist asshole in front of, like, the 1,000 people we had on his friends list and the family members and stuff, he's like, no, I never said that word. And other people started jumping in defense of it, but of course Magic had blocked them. So I'm talking to them in messages on my Facebook, copy and pasting shit into this comment section of a post, so that other people who were trying to defend Magic initially, and then started to flop over onto the other side of it, and then the post just went dead, silent. And there hasn't been a single post on it since. And it's just like, I love when people get fucking dismantled with their bullshit. I really do. That is like one of my favorite fucking things to do to people, and I should honestly just make a YouTube channel out of that in and of itself. Showing off huge racist bigots who get away with thinking that their way of thinking isn't racist at all just because they're not attacking a person. And what was funny is there was a dude from Ideas back in the day who went by Smoking Out, who is this big African American dude. I mean, as in height and stuff like that. Like, he would fuck you up. And he started to defend Magic in the post because he didn't actually go in the room enough to hear what that dude had said. about certain people in his neighborhood and a bunch of other stuff and how he talked about them. And all of a sudden, people that used to think that this guy was some great dude flopped over to being this fucking 42-year-old racist who constantly, like, talks about how he hates religion but has a fucking Necronomicon on a shelf in back of him next to a bunch of skulls. Like, who and what are you trying to be a part of? Do you even know what you are a part of? As a 42-year-old man who complains constantly on their fucking Facebook about politics. If you want to look up this man's Facebook just to see how absurd his posts are, because half of them are public, look up John, J-O-N-S-T period, Pierre. John St. Pierre. And I hate to call people out like that, especially on a VOD, and I will probably delete this VOD in the future just because of that. However, this man just doesn't understand anything about normal society. And I mean that as in, like, you can't just say something as a blanket fix to something without understanding what the root cause of it is and why things got that way. And you're sitting there calling people by old slang like racist names and a bunch of other shit. It's like, dude, why is it when you post on your Facebook also, he'll post like a paragraph of his own text that he typed into the chat room, but from a screenshot. It's not like he hovers his mouse over it and copy and paste it normally. No, this fucking dude takes a screenshot of the chat, cuts out his own text in MS Paint, posts that as a picture, and then captions over the already existing text on it. It's just another level of dumbassery that you can't even comprehend. And I hate to complain about this on a fucking YouTube video in a public forum. But like I said, I've just gotten so tired of letting people get away with being like that. That is a part of the fucking planet that has, like, gone so wrong in this society now. Unbelievable. But yeah, needless to say, I'm permanently banned. What was funny is, when I was banned the other day, they banned me for 9 years, but they just permanently banned me, so it doesn't even have a timer anymore. And I was like, what difference did that make? Like, what did... In fucking 10 years, you'll be huffing and puffing from all the blunts you smoke through a bong. Because this dude, when he smokes a bong, unlike normal people who just put the weed in the bong, the dude takes a cigar, takes the insides out of the cigar, rolls a blunt with weed inside of the cigar wrap, cuts the blunt that he rolls into little tiny sections, puts them in a bowl for a bong, and then smokes the little section of the blunt that he rolled in the bong, instead of just smoking the weed or smoking the blunt by itself. And yet this dude wants to talk shit about how people in certain communities smoke cigarettes. And I say certain communities, but you know what certain communities I'm talking about when pertaining to this guy who is known as a racist. It's just like, wow, how low can you sink on the internet, and how much can you convince yourself that what you're thinking is okay? That man is the definition of that. And by the way, he has a young daughter that you could say is impressionable and takes off from his father in that regard. Because he'll sit there, even though I will give him respect in this regard, he saves most of his ranting and talking on the websites until his family would be gone, so they wouldn't have to deal with it. But then the entire people on the chat has to deal with him sitting there like, blah, 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 Trump, blah, 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 Obama, and blah, 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 this person in my neighborhood who's of a skin color, and blah, I don't agree with leftists, but I'm a righty. And it's just like, you can't stand listening to the dude fucking talk about anything, because he's so arrogant and clueless about anything he talks about. How people respect that man, and how I was a friend of his for over 5 years. Just fucking, my mind just exploded today, like I said. There was no amount of hate that could explain the way that my brain wanted to just tear this fucking guy's head off. I sounded like a fucking Goliath from Borderlands. Like just, hey, hey, hey. I'm so goddamn angry. People have gone to the point of complacency, to the point of even passive-aggressive racism being okay. On the other end, then there's people who's overly sensitive to that kind of shit. And it's not even that I'm sensitive to the racism, it's that him trying to act like he's not been that way before. Because it's like, whatever, you think the way you are, that's the way you think. What makes you bad is you saying it and trying to convince other people that the way that you're thinking is the correct way, when it's a complete asshole way to think. And I'm sure there are people in his chat room that are still on his side, that still think he's the innocent one in the situation, and that still thinks he's a great guy. And they can believe that. But there's a reason why he was forced to leave a chat room that he had been a part of for a long time, from the owners, because of his racism. And him saying stuff that's not it's just not tolerable to be saying that when you're supposed to be someone who's a higher up in the room. I don't know. I hate to bring this chat drama to a fucking live stream, but it's honestly gotten so ridiculous nowadays that people are in such far denial that they call me in denial when I'm sitting there saying stuff that I've seen in the room, and have like multiple people saying, yeah, that happened, to back me up, and he's like, no, it didn't, because it screenshot or else. And it's like, sorry, Magic, that no one takes fucking screenshots every 5 seconds to prove you wrong 3 years later. All I need to do is record his mic for fucking 12 hours and you'll hear him say a lot of racist shit. Either that, or you'll hear him say a lot of insensitive, arrogant political bullshit. It's really amazing. I don't put people on blast often, and normally when I talk about that kind of stuff, I'll say it in a very, like, vague sort of way. But this man is just fucked up. People used to call me the fucked up one on that website, too. On Tiny Chat, and Escape Chat, all those places, they used to call me the crazy one. Because I would sit there and fucking rage and rant at people who had very, very close-minded opinions about things. And they were trying to argue their dumbass opinions with my facts. And it just doesn't matter if you treat people nicely. And that's what I've figured out over the years as well, through going through a lot of different chat rooms, a lot of places that did and didn't know me, is talking to people in a nice manner doesn't help them remember stuff any better than it does in a negative manner. And in fact, even though people will remember the negative mannered stuff, in the negative manner, they'll remember it. People remember one good thing for probably every 10 bad things. Because people want to hold on to that kind of shit. There's 1 in 10 people are a non-grudge holding person. And then another 1 out of 10 of those people are, they say they're not a grudge holder, but secretly they're always judging you for that one thing you did 10 years ago, and they always make smart aleck remarks back to it. Believe me, I know. I have my own repeated jokes on those sites that people use against me. Because I've said things that, like, this one day we were talking about how the reason why you use birdshot and buckshot and stuff like that to kill birds versus shooting it with a rifle. And I was in this conversation with them that, like, turkey shot and that kind of stuff, bird shot, it hits something, the pellets bounce off, and a lot of the time they only embed themselves really shallow, if they do embed themselves, and the bird dies of shock, of force. Imagine you being hit in the chest by a 150-pound sledgehammer in one go. You just get knocked complete out, winded, dead. You get hit so hard, you're just, you don't even get to feel it. I don't know. Again, I don't want to go on. I don't want to make the entire fucking stream this, because I could literally go on about it for ages. Did I customize this? No. Why would you ever want to put the non-flipping lights? In real life, I can understand it because of functionality, but in a video game, it's not like the flipping lights are ever gonna stop working. Is it bad that I think the stock one is actually the best one? You know what? I'm actually curious if that has a beneficial effect on the steering of the car. Because you can see it actually, like, widening the car. The wheelbase. I wonder if not putting the rear fender on it . Yeah, I kind of want to try that. If this game has real physics, that will affect the handling. Or at least simulation physics. Where it's trying to, like, calculate stuff to tell what to do in that situation. Because wider front tires versus skinnier rear end will allow the car to turn more stable. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say more stable. It'd allow you to take sharper turns more easily in a car like this. Versus if you have a skinny front end, you can't turn for dog shit, like the coupe. Ooh, wait. Gotta always go with Tiny Tim rims. This car looks good even without a livery. You put a livery on this car, it's sacrilegious. But I'm not religious, so. Oh! I never realized how much the rear end of an old Corvette looks like a... Almost reminds me of the Datsun. You always gotta go stock car scoop, right? That's too much. Why would you take everything off? That's just hideous. That just makes it look like a C6. That's gross. Who designed those? Also, this is way more orange of a red than I thought it was. Actually, the skin is kind of orange as well. Why? Always gotta have the wood. Yeah, that's like a reddish orange. Why are reds so orange in this game? Yeah, that's... There we go. That's a nice crimson. Let's see if they have any good... No, it's gotta be black. That's too much. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, dude. Oh my god, it's got Pornhub on the other side. I wish it made the entire blower black. Whoa, dude. America. Wait. Autobots. Roll out. That's pretty good. I like the simplicity. Did he put that there? No, I think that's on the car as 3D. Autobots. Roll out. Doesn't even look like it has a skin, which is what I was looking for. I wanted one that was very minimalistic. Good, we got that thing looking spicy. I wanted to see what people had made for this thing. Jaguar, as they say. Jaguar. To be honest, that looks like something I would have made too. It's actually pretty sick, dude. That's pretty sick. What a difference. And I gotta spend $3 grand on that. Thank you, Jaguar. Whoa, the space shuttle rims. I should have put those on the C3. was going to suit this car. You can't do matte paint on rims. I want it to be like a matte gray, like what the vinyl is. I always make my tires tiny anyway, so it doesn't matter what the rims really look like. My Tiny Tim tires. You gotta be able to see the Jaguar. Oh yeah, and that's just nonsense. What in ugly hell is that? Who approved that? What? Who took a normal spoiler and was like, you know how we can make this different? What if we just... and he just hulked and bent it over and then stuck it on the back of the car. It was like, that's how you do it. That's what it looks like. It just looks like some guy just took one and just bent it over. It's so hideous. Hold on. No wood insert? Too pompous. Too pompous for me. No wood insert. But it looks cool. Whoops. I can't imagine this thing has any decent customizations for it, but you can put a livery on it, even though you can't put a literally, you literally cannot livery the Cadillac Escalade. There you go. How does this thing have 12 front fenders? Did they really make that many different versions? That's just ugly. You see the reflection in that headlight? That's bizarre. None of the other headlights have done that. It's so weird. Just looks like it's gonna eat you. It's like a Roomba that got sentience and then lost its sentience because it's a car. It's like, drive me. Oh, this is the perfect one. Oh yeah. Tiny Tim rims? Can I just like rip those off? Is that really supposed to help with downforce? Like, honestly. Yeah, you can change the interior color with a car that's only green. And you can't change it to green because they only have a fucking same default set of colors. Fuckers. Where did the dude get the Subway ad? Texaco? I was like, did they add more? No. Here, you can see, here's all that took me to make the Nachos Loco skin. Can I not put stuff on the skirt? Okay. Okay. I can put just a little baby bit there and a little bit there. That's it. Oh, and then there's some in there somewhere. Is it even possible to fit one of these splats on this car? But yeah. It's the only good design thing I've ever done. You can't even see shit because they're not even actually designed for this car. They're just fucking copy pasted. I wonder what car those were originally designed for, because they all look like shit on every single car that I've used. Wait. Is that what I think it is? I can't see because of fucking sunlight. I need to, like, put my shadow in front of it. It is. You know who that is? You know who that is? It's 2B. It's either 2B or the Firekeeper from Dark Souls 3. I'm pretty sure it's 2B though. Oh yeah, there's Yorha right there. Never mind. Never mind. I couldn't see the rest of it. Sword Art Online. That's a pretty good skin though. In all honesty, when that is on an actual car, it probably looks really good. Some of the guys that do those skins do amazing work. 10 out of 10. Oh, what fucking anime? Is that Sword Art Online again? Oh fuck, what anime are those characters from? I don't watch enough animes, I just see the characters and like pictures and stuff like that, and it's like, I know who they are, but I don't. It's the fucking lackluster part of being someone who doesn't actually watch anime but catches it on Adult Swim every once in a while. So it's like, I'll watch an episode. Fuck. Sorry, I ripped my earbud out of my ear. I'll watch an episode of certain animes and I'll be like, it's pretty good. And then, oh, I didn't realize I need to limeade up my tires a little bit. To match the color green that this person used on the livery. There you go. Gun Gale? Oh. Yeah. What, do you watch a lot of anime? The people who do these skins, again, fucking amazing work with the line. How many layers? Look at all of those layers. Like, I mean, it's so obvious. It's just they use the triangle, like, not triangle, but there's like a curved, pointed shape, and they just layer it and layer it and layer it. But they have so, like, right here, right there, like this little skinny line versus the blue on the inside versus the outline versus the little white shiny bit versus the darker bit that's on the end that doesn't have outline. It's like, holy shit, dude. Those layers. Just the eye, like that transition from the top half of the eyeball with the glare down to the white section of the eyeball, but still being a differentiating color of white than the eyeball itself is like... And then this, like right here, it has like the shadows of the hair. Like, this person clearly uses Photoshop and other things like that as well. That's so good. This is like a 10 out of 10 skin, in my opinion. I don't even watch this anime and I think it's a 10 out of 10 skin. But I have an appreciation for art. Especially people who can put the time in it and actually make it look good. Because it's like, there are people who are good at doing that stuff, but they have their own, like, unique art style that allows you to tell that. It's like, I wouldn't be able to tell you if the guy who made the show made that skin or not. Because it's so, like, accurate. And even small details across the car, like that kind of stuff, is just like... I want this person to design every one of my skins for all of my cars. If I could actually give the player money who designs these, not that he'd need it, though. He probably has millions of dollars like me. I just respect that work so much, because it's like, even the other guy, like with the Yorha one, it still sort of looked a little bit off, and it took me a second to recognize it. But I don't know, sorry. That makes the skin... Why did this car have to be put next to this one in the list? Because they're both $279. Oh, I have to get this 280 so it gets put somewhere else in the list. Because I have a bunch of these anime skins. Some of them are pretty good, and while others are a little bit off. I have one more, I thought. If you ain't first, you're last. I could have swore I had another anime skin. Oh wait, no, it's on, not on that type of car. I guess this doesn't really count as an anime skin, though. This is a self, advertisement skin, as I call it. It's just a good one. Yukari Yuzuki. Soundbite that and send it to him. There you go. I wish someone would make an anime skin for this car. People only make, real race car skins. That's all they do. But again, amazing respect to the people who literally make the exact skin of the race car driver that they're trying to impersonate. Like, this is great. Again, this is another skin I'd put in a 9, 10 out of 10 range. Because it looks so good, you'd think that that is the default skin of that car, sort of thing. And that's all of the skins for that car, pretty much. It makes me not even want to make one because of how good the dudes are at making those real-looking ones. They even make, like, the casserole and a bunch of other advertisements that you see on them all the time. The infinity with the logo and then the Renault symbol. Are those... Oh, those are actual Pirelli tires. I didn't even notice that either. That's not unique to the skin. That's just this car runs Pirelli tires. Do they have the rights to... If they have the rights to use Pirelli in the game, why don't they let me put that on my car as a sticker? I've seen Pirelli as a sticker on cars before. Like this Renault logo. Or this Infinity logo. It looks like it's just a default logo. He did such a great job on it. The Castrol thing is a little bit goofed up, but that's hard to do. It's hard to make text look good in this game. It always ends up looking distorted or fucked up. The fact he was able to make these look so good, but this one looks so off, like the Castrol thing. He must have had to save space and had to delete shapes or something from it, because it looks like it's not filled in properly. But that's just me. Still better than Ivory Tower skins. See, this guy had to make his own Pirelli logo. He also made a Microsoft logo. Even though you can barely see the eye, because when text gets thin in this game, it deletes part of the actual shape. So it deleted the cross to the T, it deleted the cross to the F, and the I is basically a nearly invisible line with a dot. Sorry, I was just trying to look and see if they got that mechanism correct. That's to adjust wing. It's a mechanical arm, and as you're applying throttle, it will, as you get to higher speeds, lift the wing up and let it back down. Sort of like what a McLaren does. At least that's what that is for. It's for adjusting this part of the car. Fun fact about Formula 1 cars in real life, their tires never wear at the center of the tire. Their tires always wear off-center a tiny amount because of how the cars ride around corners. Even when they're driving flat on pavement, there's more pressure being put on the outside of the tire than on the inside. Or, actually, the other way around. There's more pressure being applied on the inside of the tire than the outside of the tire. So if you look at, like, Formula 1 racing footage, you'll always notice that there's a darker or a lighter colored line that goes around the tire versus the rest of the tire being darker. And the lighter colored spot is where the most of the tire is hitting the ground. Except in turns and under significant G's. Whoops, I thought I selected it. What the hell is that? This should definitely not have a bunch of extra parts. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. The fact that KTM even had extra parts. They must have made different models that I'm not aware of. Are these, like, only the rims that they'll allow you to put on a Ferrari? Because they're like, we don't want motherfucker to put space shuttle rims on a Ferrari. Really? You're not gonna give me any space shuttle rims? You're really that, like, oh wait. This is the closest we'll get, is the fucking Mack truck tire. The Mack truck rim. You know what? I kind of want to make this car look like dog piss. Yellow shows up as green. Okay. Because Ubisoft and lighting go together like fucking milk and nails. I love how it turns a car green because the lighting is so fucked up in this game. Why so many colors that cars come in and none of which are purple? It's okay, I wasn't going to color it purple anyways. It's too good of a color to put on a car like this. Only the headlights worked, actually. Fuel, in case you were too retarded to know that the gas tank is here. Butterfly door, for when you wanted the most inconvenient way to get into your car and out of it. I would not do that in real life. I'm telling you that right now. Can I... I would not sit in a Ferrari in real life. How do I... Oh, up here. How do you shut this dang thing? These things are a nightmare, and you never want a car with butterfly doors when you're driving around in public. This car actually has better types of butterfly door because it's a combination of front thing. It doesn't just go up the side like a Ford GT. Because in certain cars like this, you'll go into a parking lot, and because the car is so wide, you'll pull into a parking lot, into a parking space, and if you're not perfectly centered, you're going to open that butterfly door and just smack the car next to you, because it's not like a normal door. You have to open the door all the way to get out of it. You can't just open it halfway and then crawl out onto the ground unless you want to risk being cut in half if the door falls on you. I would not, again, I wouldn't fuck with these things in real life. Not a chance. You could give me one for free and I'd probably just sit in a garage somewhere because I'd care more about it as an object that'll be worth money in the future more than actually driving a car like this, because of how much of an inconvenience driving a car like this actually is. No trunk space, constant mechanical fuckwhats that you don't know how to fix because it's all using very proprietary mechanical things to make the entire car even be held together. So it's like, in a lot of cases with these cars, everything but the wheels and tires, in some case with these cars, even the wheels and tires are only allowed to be adjusted by the manufacturer anyways. That's how Ford is with the Ford GT. Because you need specific tools to take apart half of the body in order to get to parts of the car. In order to dismantle the subframes and stuff like that, to pull certain parts out of the car, you have to literally tear the entire top half of the car off. You have to open it up like it's a C-section to get the engine out. We got rain earlier before I started my stream. I can see where the storms pass by now in the distance, and you just see the lightning at the top of the storm, and just hear the in the very far distance, like well over 30 miles, 40 miles at this point. I don't even think that was the thunder I was hearing making the banging noise. I think it was someone around here, but I definitely see the lightning. Because I know, like, you're not supposed to be able to hear thunder once it's, like, past 10 miles on, like, a good day. But I can definitely see all the lightning. Which, again, heat lightning is a myth, if you didn't know. It's not something that actually exists. Heat lightning is a misconceptional term that was created back in the day for people thinking that just because it's hot out, it causes lightning. And that the lightning caused by heat or a hot night wasn't somehow as dangerous as normal lightning. Heat lightning, or lightning that you can't hear, is just lightning that's so far away, but it's so bright that you can still see it farther than the sound goes. Which is a lot of time the case in a thunderstorm, because you'll be, like, after it passes over, you'll be in an empty spot where there's no clouds because the storm has picked up all of the clouds in the area. So you get storm, which is dense clouds, and then open blue sky where there's no clouds, and big storms like that. And people will think they're safe after a storm has passed by, just because it's blue sky above them and the clouds are in the distance. And that's not, you're not safe. People need to not have that in their mind that they're safe just because it's blue sky. I know for a fact that lightning, and you can look at videos of this on YouTube, lightning can come out of a cloud sidewards into open blue sky and then arc and touch the ground down out, like, upwards of 10 to 15 miles outside of the storm, outside of the nearest cloud. That being said, the chances of that happening are slim, and the chances of you being the thing that the lightning grounds to is also slim. Humans surprisingly aren't that conductive, so unless your hair starts to raise around you in a thunderstorm, you don't have to worry. If your hair starts to raise, that's the magnetism revealing where there's a good place for it to connect and hit the ground. That's why sometimes people's hair will raise up in a thunderstorm, because that's like, if you could imagine there being sort of like a target that's constantly, like a red X that's moving over the planet, and whenever enough charge is built up, it connects to that red X as the place where it grounds itself. Because it doesn't necessarily always pick the highest object. Lightning can strike down through buildings to the very alleyway in between them. This has happened in videos and stuff like that, where people try to, like, there was that video that was viral and was going around months and months and months ago, the dude who got struck by lightning multiple times in a row after trying to mug some lady's purse. And he's like in the middle of a bunch of buildings and other shit, and it still hits him in the middle of everything else. Because he was in the area where everything was charged and where it was ready to connect. People who have ever been out on boats during those kinds of events know what that is like, because boats become a hot spot for all sorts of static electricity during a thunderstorm. And your hair and everything just lifts off your head, even if you have long hair and stuff like that. You look like a mad scientist. Again, you can look up more videos of that shit as well, because it's always been entertaining to me. Not the fear factor necessarily of it, because lightning, even though it is something you need to not play around with, it is also something that is such a low chance to hit you, it's unbelievable. Mostly because you can feel when lightning is going to strike around you. You can feel the difference in electromagnetic, like, pulse around you as lightning either goes off or is about to go off. Birds and other things possess this ability even more superior than humans, to the point where they will call out and swarm away from thunderstorms. Things like blackbirds and stuff like that will be seen swarming by the thousands away and just like jets trying to get the farthest away from the storm that they can. Because they can feel that difference in the air. People can even have long-lasting effects after being struck, or not directly struck by lightning, but being near a lightning strike as it strikes. So, like, say you were inside your house, lightning struck your house, but you have a lightning rod on your house, so it grounded and went to the ground. However, that does not stop the electromagnetic pulse that it causes around you. Now, most of it gets diverted into the electromagnetic fields of the copper and electrical devices around you. So a lot of the time, if you're inside of an area that has a lot of devices, you won't feel it. This is also why lightning can fry devices even if it doesn't touch your electrical system. Because it can offset the electromagnetic pulse in the air for a second, causing currents to go not necessarily in the correct direction, so voltage can get blocked, or voltage can get, like, intensified. And that's how a lot of the time motherboards and power supplies get fried after a storm. The power doesn't even go out or anything, but somehow, like, your power flickers for a second because lightning touches someone's ground or anything like that. Again, I've had so many problems with stuff being fried because of lightning, and I live in an area that gets less than, I think it's like 4 strikes per kilometer, comparative to like the 30 to 40 that Florida gets. You can look up there's like lightning maps you can look up that will show you the different concentrations of lightning that have struck an area throughout a year. Certain areas get way more lightning, and the amount of lightning depends on the area that you are. For example, places like California can have entire years where they get no lightning at all, and then they can have other years where they get, like, the lightning to the same level as a place like Texas and shit like that, because of monsoon season and other factors. Like this year, we're probably going to have a higher concentration of lightning per kilometer than last year, because we've gotten way more storms this year. Versus last year when we only got like probably 5 thunderstorms the entire year. This year we've already had like 15 to 20. Just in the past week, we've gotten 10. In the past 3 days, we've gotten 5 of those. We had 2 separate storms today. We had one in the morning, which was really, really windy, but almost no lightning and thunder. And then we had one tonight, which was almost all lightning and thunder with no wind and barely any rain. It was just like a lightning storm. And that's what I was watching in the distance. Anyways, sorry, I'm gonna get back to racing. I always like to educate. You need to stop driving like a retard. Like that. So bad. Kind of want to try putting all frenetic based upgrades on a car and seeing what that actually does to the boost. Because I've never really experimented, even though I should have, with special effects stacking. Frenetic being the thing that increases your boost power as you hold down the button. But a lot of the cars I drive are low RPM, high torque vehicles that love spinning the tires, even when you have full traction control on. That was so bad. Fire me. Which one is frenetic? Okay, it's the one that looks like a clock, stopwatch sort of thing. Gotta stop giving me this kind of garbage, though. Actually, I might just save those for future car upgrades. Yeah, I don't have frenetic in any of these categories. I'm not going to be jumping in this car. That's something I still haven't tried to do, is beat a touring car race with the Uhlenhaut. That's not the Uhlenhaut race. Uhlenhaut. I don't know how you're supposed to say that car. Uhlenhaut. Uhlenhaut. Coupe. Coupe.
Drive smart, and you'll win this.
I don't know if you realize what I'm up against there, but... Oh yeah. This car needs to be tightened up.
Your car leads you through.
I don't think I've ever even heard that dialogue line, because I normally lead this race so early on. Oh, that was a big mistake. No, it's just not able to keep up with them. If you could drive it perfectly, you could, but the hills are just so detrimental to the car. It just does not downshift it when you need it to. And I'm not, like, good enough at racing games anymore to use manual. At least with R1 and L1. Like I said, if manual was triangle and circle, I could do it a lot better.
Leave them in your rear view.
No, don't bump me.
You're coming in last. You need to race like you belong in first.
I've never heard that dialogue line either. I just don't have the power that they do. They just pull away from me on straights like that. I'm boosting and I can't get enough power to fucking climb my top end. Like, downshift, fucking retard, please. I can't gain anything on the top 3 people because I can't go faster than what I'm currently am. This car will not go faster. Alright. No! Well, crashed. There goes my PS4. How long was I even playing for? Less than 2 hours? This isn't my PS4. I don't have this with other games. This never happens with Monster Hunter. It only ever seems to happen when I drive around a track like that. If I just keep doing events, it's fine. If I drive around tracks and just try to do random bullshit, the constant loading in of things next to me and the other people, it just goes. Well, I'll restart my stream. Give me a bit to close out of the game. See ya.